which has several reactions. Um, the man who had come out of the barn suddenly cringes. He just like cringes and looks very much like he wants to be anywhere else. And Gutierrez just kind of snarls and walks up next to Obispo. The two other gentlemen who are not dressed like they're from around here, as you now see, um, flash each other a quick glance and step backwards. And both of them have kind of a cautious, dangerous look to them. They're dressed in what you and I would call frock coats. And have uh, whiskers that are less Spanish style and more British style. Um, and they're quite Caucasian. So the the response to Obispo is what business is of yours? Who are you? What are you doing here? This is my property. This is Obispo property.
Am I close enough to hear them
Yes,
call out?
Luna has come up, and you see this has commanded everybody's attention.
Yeah.
We will point out that the Dueños who came with you, who came with Serrano and Mateo. Remember Mateo? Like these are handpicked guys. They don't look, like they came to come and clean the carpets. They don't look like they came to pick any vegetables or anything like that. It's the people watching you have quickly suddenly realized that they're looking at an armed band. And therefore their attention is gathered on that. All those people are pointing their weaponry at you, at Hans and Serrano and company. Luna, you have a golden opportunity to suddenly burst upon the scene from an entirely unexpected direction.
I think when we see that they have turned their attention elsewhere, we sort of approach more slowly, and then we sort of stop the horses and get off and spread out. And when I hear, my plan was first to get closer, but when I hear this is Obispo property, then I can't sort of shut up anymore. So I call out, "No, this is Melero property. You are trespassing. Mm-hmm. Get off it."
Oh, well, this is a surprise. Right, go ahead.
Aimed our rifles at them, of course.
Excellent.
At this point.
Excellent. So you are now in the situation where Gutierrez, in particular, turns around and sees you, and his face kind of lights up in "there she is." Right, and so he, for one, is not frightened. He is suddenly, at last, right? And the response of Obispo, looking back and forth, basically is to say, all right, we can talk about this. All right, hold on. He sees Luna and kind of puts his attention on her, shoots a glance over at the other newcomers, and he doesn't really do okay, hands up, I'm helpless, so much as kind of a calming gesture, saying, all right, a lot of guns, we all want to walk away from this, right? The one of the newcomer, or they're not newcomers to the moment, but the newcomers to the region, says it says in English, who the hell are all these people? The two of you, I think, have heard a certain amount, a fair amount of English, but it's always been Southern Texan English that you've been familiar with. You've never heard anything like this. It sounds kind of like somebody took one of those rubber horns, like with a rubber bulb, honk, 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 right? So it's a completely different accent. Um, so let's see here. And the two of them, you suddenly realize, are armed. They're each one has cleared their frock coat, and there's and is has the hand kind of in that Wild West slap leather pose.
Yeah.
Now that only makes sense if they have a cartridge pistol.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for any other kind of weapon. They clearly are well armed with very modern weapons. So the yeah, and they also have sort of shifted a little bit so that they're at 45-degree angles to each other, and they've positioned themselves so that nobody is behind them. The two of them clearly are, well, they to borrow a modern phrase, it's not their first rodeo. Right.
Yeah.
Whom else am I not accounted for? Oh, right, the squirrely fellow, the one who cringed, is starts speaking quickly and says, he's speaking quickly actually to Luna. He is actually approaching you. This is Amado, the rancher from the ranch to the north and by the coast, and he's
Yeah.
saying, Senora Melero, you're alive. Okay, look, she's alive, he says over his shoulder. He's speaking quickly and not making very much sense. Seems to be trying to justify himself at the same time as not be shot. So he's saying,
Yeah.
don't kill me, don't kill me. I can explain. It's your husband. He wasn't reasonable. Right.
Understand.
Right.
Well, I call out and answer this. Who are these people? And tell them I am Luna Melero, wife of Alonso Melero, the owner of this property. Where is my husband? I call out as well when I've heard that.
Right.
The question has been raised before.
Cristobal at this point, looks at you, and I don't think you had much interaction with Cristobal while he was there, but
No, I don't think so.
But he now realizes, who you are. You have announced yourself.
Yeah.
And he kind of says, "Oh, so the wife is alive." He will turn to Cristobal turns to Serrano and says, "We have to find out if Alonso is alive. I mean, is he dead? What's happened?" And the fact that Obispo had claimed it as his property is not a good sign. In fact, Mateo might even just shrug and say, "Well, not on this Obispo ranch, apparently." So, Cristobal will actually swing himself down to the ground, and is entering into the conversation of, if he's dead, where is his body? Who shot him? Now, remember, he looks like a Degüeño. He doesn't. The clothing isn't very different from anybody present except for the outsiders, but he is in face and figure native, and that is very evident as well among the other people that Jose has ridden in with. So, right now, armed Degüeños riding around in bands don't have exactly, in other words, it's pretty impossible to hide who they are, right? What kind of Degüeños they are. So, and that's from Luna's point of view too. I mean, this is one of these roving bands of terrorist Degüeños, perhaps.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, that one fellow is speaking familiarly of your husband and seems concerned about who killed him.
Yeah, and would guess that Alonso would have mentioned something about this
It's not the
interaction,
kind of thing you
but
keep
maybe not
secret, right? Yeah, you
exactly.
may put two and two
So,
together. Oh, this is that
yeah,
guy who stayed here for that night.
or
Right,
at least suspect so, as
right,
he's asking about Alonso.
right.
So, yeah.
Now, who these other people are with him is a good question. They seem to have one sort of one fellow there. How I don't think you look very priestly at this point. Is that correct for Hans?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
But
particular
I'm not a Gueno, so
right.
yeah.
Okay, so there's no indication about that part of that character.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm very curious. The responses, if you're interested, if you're listening to the responses, are varied and fast. Um, Amato starts jabbering about like he's over there, he's trying to say where Melero is. Gutierrez will almost like backhand him, not literally, but very close, and saying, the Coyotes can have him, at the same time as Obispo is saying, it's been terrible, but he's like promising burial. So you can easily pick up that he's dead. Mm-hmm. You can also perhaps pick up that the body at this moment is unrecovered, wherever it may be. Obispo is even saying, "Look, we'll find him. We'll find him. Okay," which indicates that he doesn't know where the body is. So let's see. One of the people turns to Luna. One of the people. Let's go ahead and say it. One of the Yankees turns to Luna and says in slow Spanish, and he says, "I suppose it might be you we should be talking to, ma'am."
Talk to me about what? I ask. And I still have all this time I've had Gutierrez on the sort of the rifle aimed at me.
Yeah, exactly.
At the point of him turning
Talk
around
to me
and staring
about
at me.
What?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so in that case, he was saying, the sale of this property and prosperity here for everyone here. We were assured we were in fact he'll now this fellow he'll right it's just this fellow turns so that he can see Obispo and you at the same time, and he says, "We weren't here for trouble of this kind. Can't we just settle this?" And the other and then I'll throw a quick glance at Luna and say, "The name's Hal Carter." He says it in English, and it might not even be clear to Luna that it's a name.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Especially because if he said my name is, she would know. Mi nombre es is almost the same. It's almost the same words, but the name is. It's kind of like, wait, what did he say? And then
I answered that this property is not for sale, and I think Alonso Melero made that clear to everyone. And even though you are not here to make trouble, this is the sort of trouble that money creates, business creates. Get out of there.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Leave.
Mm-hmm. And Hans, let's have some Serrano interaction because Cristobal is reacting very strongly. He's saying, "Who killed him?" Right?
Yeah,
Right.
I
And
think
he's
it's pretty
saying,
clear.
yeah, in fact, he's like even like raising his gun and saying, "Who killed him? He dies. He dies today, in the name of God."
I think I'll try to, is it insofar as people are following me, which may not be the case, but kind of.
That's what dice are for.
It's true. just round the horses up, kind of, to Luna's side. I have this picture. We're all kind of converging on the same.
Right. So you're going to go around
these three groups, right? Kind of just be kind of, instead of the third point of the triangle, be a united front with her group, and actually just kind of come down to the side of Cristobal and lean down from my horse and say, I'm here for you, Cristobal. I'm here with this, but you can't be the hothead in this situation. Like, if the ranch belongs to this woman, we have to see this through. Just kind of chill out for a second here and let's see how this plays out. Basically,
he looks at her and says, "She seems like she's on the." He actually, Cristobal does. He like breathes. He goes, breathes in and out through his nose. And then he looks up and he says, "Have you told her that?"
I'll make it clear. I'm making it clear that we're kind of, I guess I'm kind of trying to catch her eye or her people's eye as we're coming close. That that
everybody's paying attention to everybody right now. And in fact, I mean,
cautiously approaching.
At least one person is just going to shout, "Who the hell are you?" to your group.
Yeah. One person on which side?
Oh wait, which person asks that?
Yeah.
Right. This is going to be somebody in the. In fact, it'll be the other Yankee who does that.
Okay.
He's frustrated. He's like, "What is going on? All these people." I mean, wait. All right, so she's the wife. Well, now who the hell are you? Right? That's his.
Yeah. I'll say we're from La Mission. And just to blow his head a little more. We're from La Mission, and we are here to see justice done. Basically. Yeah, he takes that.
Okay. I basically have several different people. I'm going to state each of what they are saying as they all swing into actions. Gutierrez basically says, there are no more Meleros. She's just, basically, he'll use derogatory terms. She's just some woman, and I want her for what I've done here. I solved your problems, he says to Obispo. She's what I want. Which doesn't go very well with the men accompanying Luna, let alone Luna herself. But Gutierrez commands, apparently, the bulk of the loyalties of the people, the other 5 people scattered around, the 4 people who were armed that I talked about. They listen to him more than they listen to anyone else. They instantly turn their attention toward the people accompanying Luna.